when the Americans made their own version of Ghost in the Shell, and then they had the nerve, the sheer audacity, to give the lead to a white woman? Seriously, throughout the better part of several months, that was all I ever heard about the movie. I mean, I never heard if it was good, I never heard if it was bad, I never even heard if it was just eh. The only thing I ever heard about was how Scarlett Johansson apparently created the single worst atrocity in the world by having the nerve, the audacity, she had to take that role. I'm so angry about this. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm not as politically amped up and racially charged as everybody else on Twitter seems to be, and maybe I'm just not really that big of a fan of the original Ghost in the Shell in the first place. Like, I don't hate it, but eventually I sold the DVD because I just didn't really, I watched it once and couldn't get into it. Either way, I committed the equally horrible sin of apparently not giving a shit, so, you know, I'm not about to poo-poo the whole, representation and racial accuracy, etc., but, I just really didn't care at all. The movie came, the movie went, never heard anything after it went, so, yeah. Then it showed up on Pluto TV one day, and I figured, you know what? There's nothing else looking good. Let's give this a watch. Worst case scenario, it ends up being a bad movie. So I ended up watching the movie, and I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It's definitely not a good movie, but, you can tell they were trying to make something, but it just didn't register. Much like the anime movie from way back when, the live-action movie tackles this situation where robots with brains who work for the police are trying to figure out the mystery of where this bizarre AI that has no body and has no form, where does it come from? Why is it trying to hack all these things? Why is it creating all this chaos? Why is it disrupting everything? What's the motive? Why are we having to fight this thing, and can we stop it? All the while tackling other, more meta problems, like, what are memories, What is my memory? Can I stay a human if I'm basically just a brain floating around in a human-shaped metal tube, etc., etc.? I will say one of the huge differences between the live-action and the anime, other than the obvious one's animated and one isn't, is the fact that the live-action movie really ham-fists its attempt at philosophy. It's been a while since I've seen the anime, and I don't remember a whole lot from it aside from the overarching plot, but I kind of remember a lot of the philosophical debates over whether, if you're still a human, if you have robot parts, or what is a memory really, etc., etc. I kind of remember that being a lot more subtle in the movie, whereas I feel like the live-action movie is basically going the route of symbolism! I mean, I guess I can't blame them for dumbing it down. I mean, we are dealing with Americans after all. I mean, have you seen some of the things Americans like to watch on TV? Really? The Masked Singer? There's no hope for this country. I wouldn't say the movie is like a beat-for-beat remake of the original, but they kept enough of the source material to where I would say it's relatively inoffensive. Keep in mind, it's been a long time since I watched the original animated movie, but from what I remember of the animated movie, and based on what I saw in this one, it's close enough, I guess. Maybe they changed a few references so Americans would probably get it more, but at the same time, the general concept is still the same. If I really had anything to say about this movie in the long run, it's just I have a feeling that the only reason that the how dare you cast a white woman as the lead in a movie based on an anime controversy was allowed to spread like it did in the first place is because there's really nothing this movie does that holds anybody's attention. It didn't hold my attention anyway. That's pretty much all anybody knows about it, and after watching the movie myself, it's not hard to see why. This movie is actually kind of boring. I really hate saying this about 2 movies in a row, but what can I say? I mean, Army of the Dead over on Netflix was boring, and Ghost in the Shell over here on Pluto TV was boring. It's just, It's the worst thing you can do. Like, even a stupid movie can make you laugh or can entertain you, and this wasn't even stupid. It was just boring. All I'm really gonna say from here is, like, you know, if you want to watch the movie for yourself, I mean, I'm not stopping you, but at the same time, you're really not missing as much as you think. Overall, I give the Ghost in the Shell live action movie 2 hats out of 4.